All right. So, what makes Joe Rogan the podcast king? We could go on and on about this. So, we're just going to do a quick coverage of some of the aspects that have led him to be the top podcast in the world. Starting out in around 2009, he's been very early to the game and has a very unique approach. I mean, what you see with this new long form media, you see things like authenticity at scale. You see the personality of someone. You're watching 3, 4 hours of them talking to someone in a conversation. You really get an idea of the person you're interacting with. You have fun with them. You hear some, in Joe Rogan's case, some wild jokes that make it a good time. And also some awesome questions and some great, brilliant minds. And you see a genuinely curious person who wants to understand issues. He wants to respect his guests, hear them out, and just have the best conversation in a human way. So, there's many, many things you could say about Joe Rogan, but we'll dive into a few of the things that I think stand out in making his podcast one of my favorite podcasts in the world and the most popular podcast in the world. I don't know if you want to jump in before we dive into more specifics and some clips.
I think it's the curiosity what have led to become such a big dominant figure within the podcast world. Because I think what is interesting about the Joe Rogan experience is, you're watching someone who's just sitting there and who's genuinely curious about different topics. And it's not even like one specific industry. It's like one time it's just about
It's like hundreds, thousands. Like,
exactly.
yeah,
Right. And those are the things where when you're in a classroom and you're not willing to ask stupid questions. Well, he is going to these people and really just saying whatever is on his mind, no matter if they're dumb or stupid, because he's not knowledgeable about it to a certain extent. So I think that is what is really fun about watching it. And then obviously the jokes and I don't know, the purity of the content, like how genuine it is. I think that just makes it all.
yeah, exactly. I mean, at the end of the day, like if you want to have something entertaining, having comedy is good. And he has the best comedians in the world on his show all the time. So, it's really a great combination. I mean, there's like the really insightful episodes with like top entrepreneurs or scientists, but then you also have like Protect Our Parks, where it's just the boys having a good time messing around. Or also the other crew they do of all the jujitsu boys, just another set of boys messing around, having a good time. It's excellent. I love it. So let's dive into actually, it's fun to take a peek here at Joe Rogan's very first episode. Let's see what things look like. All right, this is hilarious. Let's see, it's Twitter. I mean, they got like snowflakes falling, make me hard in the background. I mean, Joe's a comedian. He's a comedian. I love it. And what a superpower to be a comedian. I got to definitely become a comedian because it's the ultimate hack to be able to say whatever you want. And I'm a comedian. I can say whatever I want.
Hello, world. The fuck is going on? The questions are coming in now. How are you guys doing?
Can you believe we go from this to like hosting presidential candidates? It's like so epic. It's such an epic turnaround. Like he just looks like any, random dude just hanging out, joking around with their friends, playing games right now.
Now, obviously, everybody knows who he is, but if someone were not to know who he is and was watching the Joe Rogan podcast, I'm pretty sure they would find a couple similarities between this video and the video now. I mean, just like the nudity behind it, right? It's like just genuine, just him sitting up on the camera, and yeah, just being.
Yeah, and it's like I think we also went from a time in the world when you had to be this type of person on television and on these shows, and you couldn't step out of line, out of your script and how you're supposed to say it. And now with the internet and with podcasting, we care about authentic, real people. People say jokes, people mess around, people have a good time, and they can be some of the best people in the world. You don't always have to be suited up, acting so appropriate and politically correct. People want to get to know the real you. They don't want the talking head who never says anything controversial. They want to really hear what you think and why you think it. And then, of course, show this one of the most legendary moments in Joe Rogan as well.
So is that a joint?
Or is it a cigar?
No,
Okay.
it's marijuana
it's
inside of tobacco.
Oh, okay. So it's like pot tobacco
Yeah.
posh.
You never had that?
Yeah, I think I tried one once.
Come on, man.
You probably can't because stockholder.
You know,
I mean,
like,
it's
I can
legal,
do
right?
anything.
It's all legal.
Okay.
How does that work? Do people get upset at you if you do certain things? It's
Uh-huh.
tobacco and marijuana in there. That's all it is.
There's the meme right there. Also, another key to breaking free and being able to say whatever you want is to be an entrepreneur and be your own boss. So Elon Musk can run a public company and still jump on Joe Rogan and take a hit of weed because he can do whatever he wants within reason, of course, but he's a free person and he can be his authentic self. And, you know, some people will hate him for it. Many people will love him for it, but it had to show this highlight as well. A legendary moment that just broke the internet when this happened. So I focused on like some of the more fun things from Joe Rogan today, but realistically, probably like 70% of the time, I'm listening to something where I'm learning a ton. I mean, in that Elon interview, there's tons of great insights that you get. Recently, he did a great interview with Russell Crowe that I loved, where Russell Crowe really break down his career and how he approaches life and making decisions to kind of follow his own curiosity and stay true to himself. You obviously have also incredibly funny shows, like shows with Dio Vaughn or Protect Our Parks with the boys. And so just I think the variety of content, I mean, he's doing like 3 of these a week often, 3 3-hour sessions. So he's getting a high quantity of some of the most interesting people in the world that he's talking to. And he's just authentic, curious, and at this point, really well read and well versed in a lot of the issues he's talking to people about around the world. So yeah, those are probably my main insights, I would say, into what make Joe Rogan's podcast so successful. It's really like Joe Rogan at scale. Like he's just an interesting, fun person to listen to, and people gravitate to him.